Hello there everyone. This video is going to be a little bit different. I asked you guys if you wanted me to do a Q&A and I put it on the community post on Facebook. So I thought what I would do is just let you see me doing sort of like a little let's build on a tiny house. So as you're watching me build this little house here, I'll try to answer all of your questions the best that I can. So the first question is by Trinity, and Trinity wants to know, do I think the way they do architect homes should be updated? And Trinity's just basically saying that they need to get rid of the wallpaper glitches in the houses, leave all the furniture in the houses, and they should choose more houses that are just like nice family homes instead of random builds where you can't really tell what they are. Yes, I think they should update it, but honestly, that kind of means go back to the way they were doing it, because up until a couple of months ago, maybe around Thanksgiving, that's pretty much what they were doing. I mean, some of the builds would be kind of off the wall, and I did some reviews on them, and there would be some that just did not make any sense at all. But the reason I started doing the reviews on those homes was because I was going in there and looking for goodies, things that were rare, things that you could only purchase usually with cash, things that were maybe from past updates that were no longer available, that people had already from that others may not, and they were putting them in the home. So that's what I meant by goodies and kind of treasure hunting. And so up until around Thanksgiving or so, November of 2018, they were pretty much doing that, and that was fine. I mean, nobody's going to like the same homes, and a lot of them I didn't like, but I did like some of the things that came in them. So to me and other people, it was worth spending your currency on to get the home and even demolish it and get the good things out of it, and then you have a lot to build on too, which usually costs money. So to me, a lot of them were worth it. And so by updating, maybe they could go back to what they were doing and maybe even change that up a little bit. But yes, definitely, I do. I think that. With the wallpaper glitches, I'm not sure what's going on with that. I actually purchased one to remodel, which is coming up. And when I got the home, it was fine. And when I closed it out and came back to it later, it had a wallpaper glitch that I cannot get to go away now. I mean, that's okay because I'm going to be changing the wallpaper in it anyway. Kind of confused on that because I get different comments about what it could be. So I don't personally know what's happening with that. And as far as choosing more houses that are just like nice family homes instead of random builds where you can't really tell what they are, yes, that and the issue with the repeats actually drives me insane. So this architect home thing they started, and I can't remember when they started it, you would have thought that it would be for homes that are just really unique and awesome that would be worth the player getting. So most of the time people like the family homes, but some people don't. They want the more unique structures that they themselves can't build because we can't all do the same things. But for the most part, yes, I think they should be typical homes, but I do enjoy looking at the unique builds and maybe even purchasing one every now and then. But as far as choosing more homes that are just like nice family homes, yes, I agree with you. The next question is, why did you choose to do Sims Freeplay instead of any other Sims game? Well, I know I've mentioned this before. I'm not huge on technology. I got my first iPad in August of 2011, and I didn't do a whole lot with it for the first few months. I think I had like a bowling game and maybe a pool game that I played. But other than that, I didn't do too much with it other than just get online on a baby group because I was actually pregnant at the time with my youngest. It's my youngest child, my son, who's now 7. So when Sims Freeplay was released, I actually saw an ad for it, and I saw that you could, decorate and have houses, and I thought, well, that would be a really neat thing to do. So I chose to get that game, and I was kind of hooked immediately. That was back when I was really just playing with the Sims themselves. I did enjoy decorating the homes as I moved up in the game, and it took me a little while to realize I could actually build on those empty lots. Again, I'm not that acquainted with certain things that have to do with technology, but once I figured out I could build my own homes and start from scratch, that's when I really got hooked on it. But the question was from Theater at Heart, and they asked, why did I choose to do Sims Freeplay instead of any other Sims game? Well, the only other Sims game at the time I had heard of was just Sims on the computer, and I didn't really use my laptop, and I never ever played games on it. So again, when I was introduced to this through my iPad, that's why I chose Sims Freeplay. Now, I have tinkered around with Sims Mobile on my iPad. I don't like it. I don't know why. It's just not my thing. And I even went back to it thinking, well, maybe if I give it another try, I'll like it. And I don't like it. I just don't. I don't know. I guess I'm just used to Sims Freeplay at this point. It's been so long that I've been playing it that I'm not enjoying the Sims Mobile. So Polly asks, where do you come from, and do you have any children? And also, how do you have so many ideas for all your houses? Well, those are good questions, Polly. I come from Eastern Kentucky. I was born and raised there, grew up there. And then I went to college at University of Louisville. And after that, I got married and ended up having 2 children who are now grown. And they are almost 24, and one is almost 19. I'm also getting ready to become a grandmother. But after that, I ended up getting divorced, getting remarried years later, and having 2 more children, plus I have 3 stepchildren. Well, my 2 youngest children are still at home. They are 7 and 9, a boy and a girl. And that is where I come from, is Eastern Kentucky. But I now live northwest of the Louisville, Kentucky area in a forest, on 22 acres of forest in southern Indiana. So that's where I live now. And it says, how do you have so many ideas for all your houses? Well, before I did my channel, I would just sit and build. And you know how I build. You see me building that way right here. Now, sometimes I would like to get like a floor plan. I love architecture magazines and house magazines for floor plans. I even enjoyed looking at those when I was a little girl. My grandmother used to get those magazines, and I was just and I would even sit with paper and design my own houses on paper. And I've always really liked doing that for some reason. I think it was around the time my parents were building a home that I really became interested in that sort of thing. So sometimes I do get my inspiration from floor plans. The other thing is I get inspiration from other people. I did the video on my favorite YouTube Sims Freeplay channels. I get inspiration from them, from a Facebook group. Now, I just recently got back into Facebook for Sims Freeplay. I'm just a member of one large group, and then of course I have my small group for Sims Freeplay Architects, just to connect with people who I interact with here on the channel. But as far as just posting builds and things like that, those large groups can be really helpful. You can get a lot of inspiration from them. So just kind of like a mixed bag of places that I get ideas for my houses. But now that I have my channel, you guys are giving me majorly awesome ideas through your requests. So that's fun, and that's why I'm enjoying this so much. It's really cool to know sometimes what you're going to sit down and build, and that you're building it for somebody who's going to use it and wants you to build it. That's a whole new thing for me, because really, I've had my channel open since last May, but I didn't really do too much with it. But once I decided to really go for it and put my builds out there and really do this channel, I started getting these requests from you guys, and that was the most fun part. I never expected that. So my channel turned into something I totally didn't think it would. And when I first started it, I thought I may get 20 subscribers. I never even thought I would get 100, and maybe a couple people to kind of interact with, but that has not happened at all. It's growing, and that's so exciting. So I get a lot of ideas from you all, my subscribers. I hope that answers your question. Lele O, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly because I am terrible with names. We're all from a lot of different places and a lot of different languages, and sometimes if I have trouble with a name, I feel really bad if I, mispronounce it. So if I am, I'm sorry. But the question is, do you have a background in interior designing? Several years ago, I did take some courses for interior design. I didn't do anything with it. I just mostly did it for fun, just to learn the basics, because again, I've always been interested in designing. I am totally hooked on shows that feature decorating, especially like HGTV. But some of you are probably too young to remember this show, but way back in the 90s, late 90s, there was a show with a man called Christopher Lowell. And he was the sweetest guy. He had his own show about decorating, and he would take rooms and houses that were just ugly, and he would go shopping for the client, and he would redo it. And I loved that show, and I actually learned a lot from him. So when I would do my own home, I would keep his ideas and his sort of standards in mind. And then along came HGTV, and you see all of these remodels done, and it makes you excited to do those in your own home. So as far as a background in interior decorating, I had my own business. It was a house cleaning business for many, many years before I had my last two children. And they kind of noticed when they would ask me to help them redecorate a room, that I kind of had a knack for that, even though I'm not a professional. So I ended up with 3 different customers completely redesigning their homes. 2 in particular were rather large homes and rather large projects. One ended up lasting, I believe, 6 to 8 months. I was successful with that, but again, I was a single mom at that time, and I just did not have the time to run my business, go to school, tend to my children and my home, and do all of that and pursue a career in it. If I could go back in time and do it, I would do it. That's what I would be doing for a living, would be interior design. So thank you for that question. And Scarlett wants to know, what's my name? My name is Melissa. A lot of you know that if you are on Facebook with me. My name's Melissa, and I'll go a little bit further. I'm 43, and that's me. I'm just a mom who likes to build Sims Freeplay in my spare time, and now I've turned it into even more of a hobby. P4UL1010 asks, do you buy the online store packs with real cash, or how? And do you always buy them? I did not buy the online store packs until recently. I maybe bought 1 or 2 things over the past 7 years, and I don't even remember what they are. That's how infrequently I would do that. But as this new update with the Christmas update came out with the farmhouse and those packs, I decided to buy those because by then I had already really gotten into my channel anyway, and I wanted to be able to buy those packs so that I could show you what they look like in a house before you decided to buy them. And I really wanted them. I mean, I'm going to be honest, so I kind of treated myself to that as part of my Christmas present. Yes, I do spend real cash on them. Do I always buy them? Since Christmas and the ones that have come out after that, I have. Now, the most recent one, I think it's some new sinks and a couple of other things. I have not bought those yet. And there's a new dining table I'm contemplating, but it seems like the prices keep going up, and I have to weigh out, do I really want or need this? I have a very large inventory from a 7-year-old game. And it has to be something that when I look at it now, if I'm going to pay real cash for it, I'm thinking, wow, I have to have that. The reason, too, I didn't do it before is because when we were talking about the architect homes there, I could get a lot of the stuff just by purchasing architect homes, so I didn't do it before. But then when I saw that sort of dwindling away, I knew I'd better grab those new packs because I probably wouldn't be able to get the items otherwise, and I wanted to be able to show them to you all so you can decide if you want to spend your money on them or not. The same person also asked, how can you upload so much every day? Do you have a job or not and have a lot of free time? How do I upload every day? My routine typically is that I build at night when my children have gone to bed, which I've done for years, way before I even thought about starting a YouTube channel. That's just my way to unwind, is just to sit and build or redecorate a home I already have, just kind of play around with my game. That's how I sort of unwind. And now that I do have the channel, I do pretty much the same thing, but I have the build ready usually at night. And then when I get up in the morning, that's when I put the video together while I'm having my coffee and everybody else is sort of doing their own thing. That's when I put the video together and edit it. Now that's getting a little bit more complicated and you'll see me uploading a little bit later than I usually do now, because when I first started, I didn't edit a whole lot. But I'm learning how to edit and how to do things, and that has become yet another hobby. I started out with just iMovie and just kind of slapped it together and put it out there, which is fine. But then I got an app called LumaFusion as a Christmas present, because you do have to pay for it. And I'm still learning that app. It can be complicated if you're not used to using things like that, but I'm having a lot of fun with it because of the music and how you can sort of put things together on there and then put it over on the iMovie app and put it all together and edit it. So it's taken me a little bit longer to edit videos now, but I've sort of just adjusted my schedule accordingly. Do I have a job? Well, yes, I do have a job. It's not outside the home. I do teach my children. I homeschool my children. I also manage a household. I am one of these moms who likes to cook everything from scratch when possible. I love to clean, and I just love teaching my children. So I'm pretty busy, actually. I don't have a whole lot of free time, no, but that's why I think with this hobby that I have, doing what I'm doing, I appreciate it so much, because when I do get time to sit down and do it, it just makes it more fun, because that's just me time. I'm not the kind of person who runs around a lot, goes shopping, things like that. I just don't enjoy that sort of thing. I like to be at home more, doing things around the house and taking care of my kids. So that to me is definitely a 24/7 job, besides the fact that I am also their teacher. And as far as having a lot of free time, like I said, no, I really don't. Steph wants to know, what's your favorite thing to do in The Sims Freeplay? Obviously, that's going to be building or remodeling. It used to be just playing with my Sims and making sure they're taken care of and doing this and doing that. But now that I have more currency and things like that, and those rainbow cakes or whatever, I don't have to spend a lot of time taking care of my Sims, and I don't keep a lot of Sims in my town for that reason. So my favorite thing to do on the game is definitely to build. Trinity wants to know, do you think the prices in the online store are reasonable? No, I don't. I think they used to be. Now, don't get me wrong, it is a business, and I totally get that. We all have to make money. But as far as it being reasonable, they have to consider their major age group of players are younger, and most younger people don't have a lot of cash that they can just spend on frivolous things. And they advertise it as Sims free play. And I totally get that it can't be totally free. I understand that. but it just seems like to me they put the best items only in the store now, and the prices have just gone up and up and up if you compare the previous years. So, no, I don't think they're reasonable. The other thing that I don't think is reasonable is the time limits that they give people to get things done. So, when a new update comes out and you have the quest to do, somebody would literally have to stay up 24 hours a day, set timers, reminders, to do all of this. So if you don't have a way to use LP and you have to honestly do this, task by task, there's no way. It really dawned on me during the pregnancy event when they have you repeat things 11 times, 13 times. That is the most ridiculous thing. And what they're doing is, and you know this, they're making you get almost to the end and you're almost finished and you're thinking, I can't do this without LP or SP. I can't finish on time, so I'm going to miss out. Let me go ahead and buy some currency. That's what they're forcing you to do. And they know what they're doing. Now that goes beyond running a business into gouging. That is gouging. And I think that it's pretty sad. And it makes people want to hack the game. It really does. And so I can totally understand that. And it causes a lot of frustration with players too. And you see them complaining on their Facebook page. They don't even answer those. They don't care. So I wanted to also add that to the question was just about the online store prices, but I wanted to add that in there as well about the quests. Trinity also wants to know, how long do you think you will play The Sims Freeplay? Well, I've played this long. I don't see me quitting. So that's a difficult question to answer because I honestly don't know. But I do not plan on quitting anytime in the near future. Let me see if I can pronounce this correctly. Riadra? Oh, that's pretty. That's a pretty name. I hope I have that right. Wants to know, have you ever thought about doing House Flipper? That's an interesting question because I keep seeing that pop up everywhere. I haven't checked it out yet, and I think it's Make2 is doing that on their channel, and I have not watched those videos. I don't know what it is. I mean, judging from the name House Flipper, it looks like you would be taking old houses, right, and redoing them to resell. That might actually be a new thing that I'll check out. So but for right now, no, I have not thought about doing it, but now you're kind of making me want to. So let's go to the next one here. Deneen the Best asked where I live. I think I answered that earlier. I live in southern Indiana near the river in the forest on 22 acres of land that we have cleared. And we just moved into the house that we built here about 3 weeks ago, and I designed the house, every square inch of it, starting on grid paper, transferring it to a program. I think it's called Home Design 3D, and I have the model still on the app here, but I designed it on there. It gives you all the measurements, and then I transferred it over and made my own floor plan for my husband to go by, and he and my father-in-law and my father built this home from the ground up. All that was on here was a small hunting cabin that was 13 by 15, which is now our master bedroom. So we took the old hunting cabin, stripped it down, and I took my grid and built around that hunting cabin and built and designed our house. So that's pretty cool. Maybe one day I will video the app, the design on the app, and show it to you in 3D mode. Now, of course, the furniture that's in there on the app is just kind of similar to what I have, but you would get an idea. We downsized from about a 4,000 square foot house to 1,400, and that has been such a blessing. And now we have all this land where I can garden and I can, have chickens and go back to my roots because I grew up in sort of a forest setting there in eastern Kentucky. So that's where I live, Deneen. I live in southern Indiana in the forest. Oh, and on a side note, I've had some people ask me to do my videos in better quality. Because of where I am, I do not have a very good internet connection. I've tried doing it in higher quality, and it takes like 5 hours to download a small video, even if it just does it. Sometimes it won't even download it. It'll be 2 hours in and it will have an error, and I'll have to keep starting over and starting over. And it would literally take all day if it even happened to upload a video. So I have to keep doing it the way I'm doing it for now until we find, because we did just move in here, until we find a better solution for that problem. Alyssa wants to know, what do you like to do for fun? Oh, well, in the cold months, I love to read, and I really love cooking. I love researching better ways to make food. I'm really focused on my family's health, so I do a lot of organic, from-scratch cooking. I love to sew. That's a lot of what I do in the colder months. Now, in the warmer months, I love to garden and landscape, so I like to have flowers. And then I also like to have a garden and grow our own vegetables and things like that. So I like to be outside as much as possible when it's warm out, just being out there with the plants and doing things like that. Those are my favorite things to do. Another thing I really like to do is I like to make our own bath and body products from, beeswax, coconut oil, essential oils, shea butter, things like that. I really love making those types of things along with our own cleaning products. I like to make as much as I can, and then what I buy, I like to find a really good brand that's non-toxic and just purchase those. But that's definitely a hobby of mine, is to do some DIY bath, beauty, and home products. Let's see, what's next here? Melina asks, can you build a futuristic home with robots and stuff? Well, I could build a futuristic home. That might actually be pretty fun. So I'll put that on the list, Melina. But as far as robots, I don't know. We don't have robots in the game. But I will try my best to use my imagination and do that for you. Davin or Davine, I'm not sure, asks, do you ever glitch in your builds? No, I don't. I tried glitching a few years ago, and when I tried it, it was sort of that thing where you have to tap, 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 tap. My brain fries if I have to do anything like that that's completely just like repetitive. I can't stand things like that. My brain is wired so that if I have to do something that is really repetitive like that, I can't take it. It's not worth it for me. Now, is the newer glitching like that? I don't know. I haven't really checked it out. All I know about it is what I see on videos as far as the finished product. But I don't do the glitching. Now, the exception would be the one that I did for the angled furniture glitch, because that didn't involve anything like that. That was pretty cool. I did a house on it. But I realized after that the Sims can't use the items that you angle. They kind of sit in the air and lay in the air, and it was just really funny looking. So I don't do that anymore either. So no, I don't, as of right now, I don't use any glitches. Never say never. If I found out that it was really easy, maybe I would try it again in the future. But as of right now, I just like to keep it nice and simple. Rocio, I'm not sure, I'm sorry, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, is asking, hi, I'm new to the channel, I speak Spanish. They're using a translator here, saying I have good taste. Well, thank you. And could I make a nice cheap house without so many special things, like the objects that have to be unlocked? Yes, and I do try to do a mix, but when new things come out, I get so excited about them that I use them. I maybe overuse them a little bit. Please do check out, though, the old furniture house that I just did recently. But I think what you're asking me for is just doing a house that has normal things that aren't as new, but I don't have to go all the way back to the beginning like I did on that one house. So yes, I can do that for you, definitely. And then we have a big question here, which is, what else do you think The Sims Freeplay needs? Well, do you have all day? I have a mental list of things that, and I probably won't even remember them all here on this video. One thing that bothers me that we really need are plain black doorways. We have the arches, we have the older Victorian looking ones. I just want some, you know how we have the white ones now that are just plain? Please just give us some black plain doorways. We do have the double homestead one that has the notches at the top, but we don't have a single one. And it drives me crazy. So if I want to do black trim inside the house, I have to make sure all the doorways are double, or I have to use the old singular arch ones. And that drives me nuts. Another thing would be better and more updated staircases. Our staircases, guys, aside from the chalet ones and now the homestead one, none of them match the floors. So we have all these beautiful floors, like all these wood floors, older and newer. And then you go to find a staircase and you have burgundy and gray, or you have plain white and light tan, or we have metal, only metal spiral staircases. If you go down and look at all of the staircases that we have, none of them match any floors. And that drives me insane. We have got to have staircases that go with more flooring. I'm sure most of you probably agree with me on that one. Twin beds that look normal. Besides the bunk beds, and besides now the pink farmhouse twin bed, we don't have any twin beds other than the old green one that came out 7 years ago. That's all we have is the green and white, ugly twin bed. And we really do need some twin beds that just look like normal twin size beds. I would also like to have more normal decor, like just freestanding jar candles and picture frames. And I would love to be able to place everything that goes on walls over furniture, not just some things. I have no idea how they pick and choose that, but it drives me nuts. I would love to be able to put mezzanines back to back, to be able to angle rooms or make L-shaped rooms, not just square or rectangular. And better roofing options, the multiple level roofing in better colors, even just better colors for normal roofs would be a definite plus. So that definitely wraps up the questions there. I'm just kind of giving you a look around of this little tiny house that I've built here. It turned out pretty cute, I think. I really like it. I may actually end up keeping it, who knows, but I think it looks pretty cool. We have that outdoor patio there. We have the little living room. Let's take a look at how it looks at night here. I'm hoping you guys got a good look at it while I was talking, but I just kind of wanted to see what it looks like at night here before I go. But if you hung in this long, you deserve a reward. I'm sure this video has turned out to be a very long one, but I wanted to answer your questions and do that for you guys because I know I get a lot of questions in the comments and I don't just like to, just answer them there and keep answering the same ones over and over. So I thought I would offer to do this question and answer video for you all. But yeah, I really like how this little house turned out. Hopefully you did too. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It helps me out. And I'm going to get back now to doing the next requested build. Love you guys. Thank you. And I'll see you on my next video.